Welcome back to episode number 9. 9. And I am your host, Jason McIntosh. Joining me is the lovely...
I'm your co-host, Katrina Madewell. Welcome to Live, Love, Loss.
Welcome back. Live, Love, Loss. Now, you're super pumped today about this show. Me, not so much.
I know. There was like a strong delay here getting started.
Yeah.
But so our topic today is dating in 2025. I am excited because I think you have a lot more insight than me.
Oh, boy. I don't know about that.
But we're going to talk about some cool stuff. Like literally it's going to be a conversation. Jason, I'm going to do my best to not interrupt you and still keep the banter moving.
Yeah.
So whether you decide to put yourself out there, right? You're a widow, you're a widower, or maybe you're just thinking about it. Either way, today's dating world is a whole new game. Man, do I feel that one.
Yeah, it is.
Especially after loss. That changes all the dynamics.
Yeah, despite loss. I mean, even just if you didn't have the loss and you're just single, it's difficult to maneuver, and that's a show in of itself. But if you sprinkle in the loss part of it, I mean, that's a whole nother animal.
It is. But I mean, here's the thing. If you're younger, right, and you've been doing this for a minute and you haven't been married, this is the norm.
Yeah.
But if you're somebody like me, I met my husband when I was 20.
30 freaking years, man.
I'm 50. And
do you know how much has changed in 30 years?
Yes.
I mean, my goodness.
We didn't have these.
We did not.
So that everything has changed.
You know, there was a little term, there's a term now. It's called breadcrumbing. The breadcrumbs back 30 years ago were like if you're eating a sandwich and you just you left crumbs everywhere, right?
Or a trail, like if you're trailing.
It's so different. Do you know what that term breadcrumbing means?
I've heard it, but you're going to explain it way better than me.
Yeah, because I've been breadcrumbed.
Yeah,
I may have left a few crumbs myself, but so a breadcrumb is what you can do is string absolutely nothing along for a very long time.
Why?
Here's why. So, in the old days.
I guess you got to explain what it is too. Sorry.
Okay, I'll start there. So I was trying to, but breadcrumbing, you did it again. Breadcrumbing is this. So you know how you can just shoot a text like, hey, sup, and just a week later, sup, you just kind of keep the thing going. It's not really any context or no real substance is the word I guess I'm looking for, right? So, there's the whole, should I text? Is it too soon? Kind of like back in our days, it's the calling part, right? But texting is so just easy, and a lot of things can be lost in context in texting, right? It's a whole different world. So breadcrumbing is just the act of just giving them a little like, hey, how's your day? How things going? Just like, and probably if you're just breadcrumbing, it just means there's no real spark. There's no real excitement. There's not that primal instinct like you're just having fun and a banter, because you can even texting someone, I think you really get a sense of their energy and their chemistry via text. If it's dry, if it's bland, that's kind of where the breadcrumbing comes. Like you go out on a date with someone and it's an okay date, but like the texting, it's like they're lingering. Even if it's a bad date, you don't want to see them again. The lingering of the text, where the other person on the other end is going to shoot a text and you can respond back. And then you play this little tug of war, for the next day or weeks or whatever happens. Or just out of nowhere, 3 weeks later, 4 weeks later, 5 months later, hey, how you been? That's kind of like breadcrumbing.
I feel like that existed when I was 20.
Yeah, but it's a no show, no call, no show. I mean, basically, you had to show up. So at some point in time, you had a phone call, right? But you couldn't. The texting is just so easy, and it's right there at your fingertips, and you just shoot a little whatever, and it's like instant communication, right? So it's a whole different thing. I mean, we didn't really have that back then.
Or the slow drip, right? Like the slow drip communication.
Yeah. So anyway.
So if you're breadcrumbing, is there interest? Is there not interest? Or is there someone looking for someone better? You think that's what it is?
No, breadcrumbing.
Do you think it's companionship until they're waiting?
Of interest,
what is it?
Because you would have the whole loaf, and then some. You would be baking loaves by the daily, right? Fresh bread, like Panera, right? Breadcrumbing is like zero interest. If somebody's breadcrumbing you, they have no interest. They're not interested.
So what are some signs that you're getting breadcrumbs?
just one word responses, just very dry, no, just not a lot of substance, right? There's no spark, there's no chemistry, you're not laughing, having a good time, you're not smiling, there's none of that, right?
People are weird.
So weird. It's different, man.
Let me tell you, we'll talk about the dating thing, but I had messaged this one guy on Hinge, and
here we go.
We
went right into it.
Well, I want to ask a question.
Okay, go ahead.
About breadcrumbing, but I have to give the story to ask the question.
Okay.
So I get this guy messages me back. Oh, I love redheads, blah blah blah, all this stuff, right? We have this whole conversation, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm going to Minnesota, where his family is from.
Yeah.
Coming back." And then I feel like there's that weird little breadcrumb conversation. And I'm like, I'm not going to chase you. I just won't message you.
Yeah.
So what's the dealio with that?
So I have a hard, fast rule with this because we'll get to this part in the show, I guess. I'm going to go out and say that online dating is a facade. It's BS. I mean, good luck with it, right? So
it feels terrible.
Hold on. My hard, fast rule is the back and forth banter. Like, first off, don't treat it like an interview. Like, if you need to interview me just to go out, and I mean, in this day and age, I'm the man. So, I mean, we're not going Dutch. I mean, I'll be a gentleman and I'll pay for the meal and I'll pay for the date. So, I mean, I'm gentleman enough to finish the date, even if I never want to see you again. Right. So my point is, what do you really have to lose? Roll the dice. If it's one bad date, big deal. You lose so much more time with a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because you've got this idea built up in your head of who this person is, but it's hard to get to know someone. And then after you get let down once or twice or 3 times, you're a little jaded. So you don't want to go through the charade. You don't want to go through the song and dance, and you just don't really give your full 100% because of the past experiences. So I think you just need to agree to meet right away, because if there's no spark, why continue? And
I agree with that, but I'll give you a female
There's
perspective.
no but. So everybody's a little different. Butts are for sitting on. But you're right. You're right about this. But females are the worst at this, right? Because they, regardless of what they may say, physical attraction is absolutely first and foremost. Let's just put it there. You can say what you might, say what you will. I believe that it's so much easier for a woman online to date or have potential suitors more so than a man, no matter what you look like, right? Because I think there's a bigger, broader audience for yourself. You're on this Hinge or Tinder, Bumbles. You're on all the different things, the POFs, all of them.
Which
right?
I'm not, but we'll talk.
Okay, but any of them, you've been on 1 or 2 or 3.
2.
Okay, 2. So you've probably get your fair share of messages, correct?
Hinge is weird. I think they block stuff.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I do. I think they block stuff.
Well, for men, and I'm sure it happens for women too, there are definitely a lot of fake profiles.
Yeah, how do you spot that?
Well, I'll tell you how I spot it. Number one, the conversations are always exactly the same.
Oh, got it.
And a super hot, like 12, not on a scale of 1 to 10, a 12 supermodel. I mean, they're not just that forthright and that, they're just not hitting people up randomly, because they get tens of thousands of messages and it's just hard for them to sift through them. So you probably have to be very creative. You have to make the first move more than likely, and you're going to have to stand out from the sea of just craziness. Yeah. So, I mean, I can spot it a mile away because they all start the same way, right? And
so what do they say?
The
fake profile.
It's the same thing. Like, oh, well, what are your hobbies? What are your interests? What do you like to do in your free time? I mean, I put all that in my profile. Didn't you read it? Like,
Did you read it?
Yeah, I mean, it's all right there. So that doesn't mean you skipped past all of that. It's always the same, dry, boring. It's like copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste.
Well, I think guys are a lot more susceptible to that kind of stuff, because
not this one, but you're right,
they're trying to get money. I mean,
yeah, they are.
I see it all the time.
They are. So in my opinion, you were about to tell me from a woman's perspective. I think for a man and for a woman, because there's also this whole thing of like catfishing too. So Now, safety is always a concern. Safety.
That's what I was going to say.
Coffee, public place, let a friend know where you're at. Always, whether you're male or female, let someone know, hey, I have a first date, And if maybe not a bad practice to have maybe someone within very close proximity where you can give them the thumbs up. Hey, go away. We're good. Right. Where you figure out they're not a creeper or something. But always carry pepper spray, mace. Be in a public place. If you get creeped out, then end it.
So that's the thing. I think why women probably want to chat, at least for me, a little bit more. I'm not giving my number out to anybody.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just not. And for me, what I've noticed, and again, the whole real estate world, I'll give it a different dynamic, but I always get their number first. Like if I'm someone I'm chatting with, I'll get their number first and then forewarn it.
You're kind of newish and you're a beginner to this.
I am, but the first thing I'm going to do is look them up to see what their record is.
Yeah.
If I get the spoof number where there's nothing, like not even a speeding ticket, I immediately text them back and I'm like, what's your real number? What's your real number? That's what I tell
you're
them.
doing like a background check on these people.
Well, yeah, because one guy I was chatting with had all these crazy domestic charges. I'm like, block. We're not continuing this one.
Yeah. No, and listen, there is definitely something to that. And
so for females, think about it.
Safety first, I agree.
Like if it's you and I'm strong, I go to the gym, but I'm no match for you. Like if you're a stalker or a crazy creeper.
Listen.
You're going to take me out.
I will volunteer my services right here in the show. You heard it first here. If you're going on a first date, you want me to be somewhere like as an extra in the background until you give me the thumbs up, I will gladly do that for you.
There was one guy I was talking to and I could tell he was a big dude and he gave me the spoof number and I responded back and I'm like, what's your real number? And he responded, I don't give my real number until I go on a real date because I had a stalker. It's like a Google voice number or something.
Oh, okay.
It's got to be, yeah. So anyway,
he's done this a time or two.
Yeah. So I'll rodeo. He was like, oh, I had a stalker. And I'm like, okay, good. Yeah. But literally, I'm a female. You're a way bigger dude than me. I can tell by looking at your profile. Yeah. I'm not just going to show up and meet you someplace without your real number. And I don't usually tell him I'm looking him up, but I'm looking him up. That's why
I get it. And it's interesting to hear that. So, I'm assuming that does happen quite a bit. And
well, we have an inside advantage because we have the technology. Yep. I mean, I guess anybody has access to it, but we have it at our fingertips to look someone up.
I mean, you'd have to have their first and last name, I suppose, to do that.
Oh, you only need their phone number.
If they give the phone number. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if it comes up nothing, like not even a ticket, a speeding ticket or anything, or a red light ticket, nothing.
Yeah.
That's a spoof number.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
interesting. You heard it here first.
If you have a real estate friend and you're dating, they can look it up.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, public records.
Well, aside from that, it's way quicker on a four-wheeler. But anyway.
Yeah, court case records or something like that.
All right, so let's talk about.
Let's talk
about the obvious. We'll blend this into number one, but dealing with the hookup culture, right? The unclear intentions, people who may not understand.
Should we back up a little bit?
Maybe.
We didn't really talk about and maybe we should put this disclaimer out there. We kind of touched upon it last week. There's really no hard, fast rule on how soon is too soon or any of that type of situation. So, I mean, my loss was 17 years ago. Yours was in November, going on now 6 months or so, 7 months.
Yeah.
So my opinion on that is you have to do what feels right for you, and everybody's circumstances are definitely a little bit different because you don't know what those conversations were like at the end. And, especially if you were dealing with inevitable for maybe years, it wasn't an instant sudden thing. Right. So, and we're not spring chickens, right? So it's just like life does go on. And I truly believe this. And I think that if you remember anything we talked about in some of the last shows is the person that has left you behind doesn't want you to stop living, basically. Right.
I agree with that.
And if I was the one leaving my significant other behind, I would want happiness for them, right? Not while I'm alive on earth, but, I would want happiness for them and I would want them to move on. And that's just part of it. So we won't spend a lot of time on that, but I just think it's important for those of you thinking because they're probably saying, well, How soon is too soon? Only you will know, right?
And
don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
The personality type has a lot to do with it. So
for
me, my personality, I'm a DI with quite a bit more C than I'd like to admit.
Yeah.
So I'm a super researcher. I'm going to read all kinds of stuff before I do anything.
Yeah.
And so I literally think my first date.
You're sliding into those chat rooms.
No, I'm not. Well, my first
not
date.
Not the DMs, just chat rooms.
My first date I said yes to, I think literally was just like, hey, what can I expect? I don't think I was even interested. I probably wasn't even ready, but I was just like, what can I expect from dating in 2025? Yeah. And then the first date I ever went on, the guy was talking about marriage, and I was like, oof, yeah, not ready for this.
Yeah.
That was a bit much. And to touch on something you said earlier, he didn't even pay for the date.
Are you kidding
And
me?
I was like, and
so
probably because I was like a
up.
disconnect.
Back up a little bit. So the time came and he didn't reach, or it was like a Dutch thing, or
well, you know how the server.
He's like, hey, she came just together, and he goes, we'll split it type
the
thing. The
server comes over 1 check or 2, and he answered. He's like 2, and I was like, cool.
Wow.
I almost said, should I pay for yours, man? But I didn't.
Oh man, now was this like a high end or just your regular?
No, just Bahama Breeze lunch, nothing crazy.
Lunch.
But
now what?
The point is, at that moment, I was like, okay, yeah, a lot of stuff might have changed in 2025. Yeah. But I can tell you, if I go on a date with someone, this is where I'm my old school, maybe it's my age, I don't know.
That's it, old school.
But if I go on a date with someone, even if I have interest in that person, if they don't pick up the first tab, that's the last date we will go on.
I would tend to agree with you. It's not even because some may argue, well, that's very assumptive.
Well, that's the risk I'm taking.
No, but what I'm saying is, generationally speaking, I'm 51 years old, and my parents are still married. So I don't know. I'm just old school. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm a romantic, and I feel that's it's obligatory. Right. I mean, at this point, and I understand. I mean, times may be tough, and maybe, who knows? I mean, maybe the person sitting across from you is more of a breadwinner, but then maybe you should reassess things, and maybe it's not time for you to date yet. I don't know, but that almost should be. And if you're not having a lot of luck, that could be one indicator, right? But then you go into the whole situation where you don't know, because I don't know. I still think, regardless of women's rights and equality and all that stuff, that is just a chivalry. That's being a gentleman, right? That's just, it is kind of tacky to look right at her. Even if it's a bad date, I've still picked up the tab. I mean,
that's a lot. It says a lot about you.
Well, thank you. It's the right. And I wouldn't think anything less of it, right? Because if I can't afford both, then I shouldn't be on the date to begin with. But I go into that with that just being a given, not even a thought, right? And you're right, that's the way it should be. But
there's also probably a 20 or 30 something that's listening. It's going to have a totally different perspective than you and I do at 50 and 51.
No, I get that. I definitely get that, because.
And think about it. You're broke in your 20s. You are.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't, but
most people are.
Yeah, you're right. So. Interesting.
I'm just saying, for me, and you guys listening, you can take it for what it is.
So
I've got my own money. It's not about, no, I'm not your girl. It's not about the tab. It's about the chivalry part of it that you mentioned. I think if you don't pick up the first tab,
love
we're
language,
not
acts
paying.
of service.
Won't be a second.
No, it's definitely generational. That's just a given. I mean, I wouldn't even think otherwise, that.
And then I go on, I guess it's kind of, I don't think it's a date, but maybe it's a date. And it's somebody I've known for 35 years, longer than my husband. I can tell he likes me. I can tell there's interest, but he is a train wreck financially, and I just can't do it. Yeah.
I mean, this is super interesting, because a lot of things are going through my mind right now. And so let's continue, because I don't want to spoil alert just yet. There's something that will organically come up, a topic about dating, because I've had everybody. If you ask any of your single friends, dating is tough, right? In this day and age with technology and the apps, I mean, you hear horror stories and frustrations, and where do I go to meet a good person? I mean, it's very tough and difficult, and there's a lot of things to look out for. So
for me, I just feel like it's going to happen organically. My network and social circles are big enough. I'm going to meet somebody. It's a friend of a friend. It's not on the dating apps.
Yeah. Well, in order to meet someone, you actually have to be sociable and actually get out of the house and but let's talk about that for a moment. I mean, there's people that maybe don't have a large social network, right? And like I've been single for a long time, for 17 years, and so I've never picked someone up at the grocery store, right? And I've gone.
You haven't like bumped carts with anybody?
No.
That would be cute.
Maybe we'll
just go bump carts with a hot blonde chick. You like blondes or brunettes?
I'm equality. I like women. Period.
So just some hot chick, just bump her cart in public.
Don't discriminate on hair color. Maybe gravitate towards the brunette side, but like, listen, blondes. I mean, don't get me wrong. My late wife was a blonde, and I've dated my fair share of blondes, but I just like women.
That's good to know.
So, but no, grocery store, that's a move. So just bump carts, is that what it is?
I don't know. I think it would be cool and cute and,
Yeah, okay. I'll do that.
Like, whoops, oh, sorry I bumped your cart. You want to go for coffee? Like, that would be cute. I would say yes, even if I wasn't super attracted to the guy. But
is it
then
that simple?
I would. I probably would. I mean, unless he was totally ugly and I was like, ooh, we're not going to have anything in common. But for me, emotional intelligence is a huge thing.
Yeah, I think
it's a very, very, very big thing.
You got to be stimulated. Right?
In intellectual, stimulation. If it's not there, it's probably not going to go.
I mean, you used the word intelligence, and emotional intelligence, and so I think I don't know exactly what that term means, but I would almost imagine that it's not so much like book smart and a college degree as it is just carrying a conversation more or less.
But a good one, not a boring
That's
one.
what I'm bit stimulating. That's what I'm saying. There's got to be the spark. There's got to be chemistry. There's got to be a natural banter. You shouldn't, and we've all experienced this. You just know. I mean, when there isn't any awkward pauses, when it just naturally just flows. And I think for me, the biggest thing is, I think that like humor is very, very important, whether it's a dry humor or whatever humor. And I like to laugh. I like to have a good time. I'm really big into energy. So, if that's not reciprocated, then it could be a deal breaker for me.
It's huge. Yet common dynamics, right? Like for me, I'm a football girl, so that's kind of a big deal. Like if I am dating some guy and he has no interest in football, and I'm like, that's kind of lame. I like football.
Yeah.
And I know it's attractive to a lot of guys, and it can get weird. Like literally last year, one of my best friends, her husband, she hates football, doesn't know if it's stuffed or inflated, but she's like, hey, do you want to go to the Bucks game with Nick? I'm like, absolutely, I will go. Like, hadn't done much. I'm like, I'll go. And then we go, and we're sitting next to this guy that's like a regular seat holder. Homeboy's married and is like immediately attracted, right? Because I'm a good looking female. I think I'm hot. I'm 50, but I'm hot.
Absolutely.
And I know a lot about football, and I actually really like football.
Yeah.
And it just got a little weird. Like, Nick, you're changing spots. I'm sitting on the end, like you're in the middle.
I think you got to go into things with an open mind. I mean, so try new things, new experiences. I mean, I think that's the part of, getting out there and reinventing yourself, so to speak. And, there may be some things that you were never really into, maybe because of the person you were with or just because you never had that opportunity. So I think you just have to keep an open mind. And for me, energy and chemistry is very big, because then I could do things that I maybe never thought that I would do or may not have been of interest. I'm pretty spontaneous. That's my thing, is I'm super spontaneous. I could be on a first date, and if the chemistry's flowing and we just say, hey, you know what, let's just hop in a plane and go to Vegas. Like, let's do it, right? So, or let's just go on a road trip here. I mean, I've been very spontaneous. I think for me, that's something, but there's a time and place to be serious, and we have to be grounded. I mean, we both run very high volume kind of businesses, and we deal with a lot of pressure, and that's something that we're quick on our feet, we act fast, we have good instincts, and I think that puts us in a situation where dating, we have this kind of advantage. But at the same time, I also think that, at least I'm speaking for myself, I know pretty much instantly if I'm feeling something or not. And I just, time is money, and time is precious, and time is a commodity. So I just think that, it's in everybody's best interest to, be open-minded, but at the same time, if there isn't an interest, then you really have to let that person off gently, I believe.
So Let me ask a question related to that, related to the sort of breadcrumb-ish, I guess, we talked about earlier. So let's say it's someone you know there's interest, but there's this crazy delay, right, in the text conversation.
Yep.
And it feels a little bit like a breadcrumb, but it's not really a breadcrumb.
That's a real thing, apparently. Yep.
Like, what do you think about that? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Because for me, like, if someone can't text me back for a week, like, you're not interested.
A week is ridiculous. You know, I think that you just have to
because we're busy. We have our own lives, right?
I think you have to set the expectations up front, like, and talk about, you know, just it's not an interview, but you're going to figure out what. Someone's preferred method of contact is, but some people like to talk on the phone. Other people do not necessarily. Some people are.
I think that's most of
bigger
people.
Bigger texters. I mean, then you get to a certain point in time, and this is probably maybe after you have met them for the first time, and there really is some spark there. Is like the whole FaceTime thing, and you know, I've done that, and that can be very intimate, and that's you bringing them in, and it's like even if you can't see them for that day, it's like you are there with them, spending time with them in the home, and I think that's a super cool thing. I mean, as a teenager growing up, I would have loved for that type of technology, right? I think that would be an amazing thing, but we didn't have that, and here we are in our 50s, but
we did not.
You know, we age gracefully, so we can embrace it now and run with it. Look at us. So
the apps, we should talk about that, because I joke around with my niece because she met her husband on Tinder, and I'm like, isn't Tinder the hookup site?
Yeah.
It's the hookup site, right?
That's what I've heard.
That's what you know. Yeah, that's what you're just
telling us. No, listen.
I've been on 2. So I deleted Facebook dating, and then I'm only on Hinge, and I'm about to delete that. I don't like that either.
No, listen, I will go. I'm a much better. I would rather just meet someone in person, full disclosure. I despise and abhor and loathe the apps, right? I truly, truly do. Being single for 17 years, it's just, you do it because you want to get yourself out there, and there is a difficulty of where do I meet someone, but it's a game, it's a charade, it's a song and dance. And so not to knock those people who found, who maybe got lucky and had some success. That's few and far between, I believe. Because it really is like a sales pitch. I don't think anyone's really genuine on there. And unfortunately, there really isn't. It's hard to maneuver through that, because if you can skip all of that and just get right to the connection, I think it's just so important. I believe, at least for me, and you do what you feel is best for yourself. I like the move of, if there's any type of spark, or you do have an interest, whether it's something I set on my profile, or maybe a picture, and you think I might be a good guy, and maybe you're attracted to me, let's just agree to meet somewhere in a pub, whatever your preference or whatever makes you feel safe, but let's just get that out of the way, and let's just have, a date, or let's have a phone conversation if you prefer to do that first. For me, I think it's very important as a man. However they feel comfortable and what makes them feel safe, I want to make sure they do feel safe, because I do understand this day and age, safety is always first. I mean, I am a father of 2 daughters.
Girls, yes.
So, and they're both old enough to be on apps, but one is in a relationship of going on 7 years with 3 children, and my youngest is 17. So, as a parent, I would want that for my daughters. So, I think that's important, and it's okay to establish those ground rules in your conversations prior to the date.
So your 17-year-old, does she date?
I believe so.
And where does she meet the guys? At school?
I mean, these are school.
Is she apping?
What kind
is she on any of the apps?
A dating app?
Just curious.
Is that allowed?
Curious?
Under 18?
I don't know. I'm just asking.
I don't know.
I don't have kids under 18. So.
Yeah, I can't answer that.
You're probably right. Not under. I guess that's Snapchat.
I think you got to be 18 or more. Yeah.
All right. So the hookup culture. How do women deal with the hookup culture?
Some women want to hook up. I mean, it just depends on what you want.
You're right.
So I just think that there is on these apps, I mean, what your intentions are and what you're looking for, because you can kind of choose that. Like, I'm just short term, I'm just looking to have fun, just want to make friends, or you're looking for a long-term relationship. So, I just think you have to be, sounds cliche, but just tell the truth and be honest. And I don't know, it's just, that's hard, right? And then there's a whole other thing, because you asked about, well, if it takes a week or so for them to get back. Well, if that's the case, that's just BS. I call BS on that, because they're not into you.
Or they're courting someone else, maybe.
Yeah, well, but that's the other thing I was going to get to. I mean, you get the whole like player vibes and things like that. Well, that goes both ways for sure, right?
Yeah.
And I can just speak for myself, like, and I'm old fashioned. So if I'm into someone, right, I'm into that person. I mean, for me, I'm not necessarily going to see other people, right? I mean, if there's a spark there, because that's so hard to find, a genuine connection. You can date just to date, maybe until you feel that spark or connection. But then for me, if I'm going to feel that, I am going to act on that, right? But you have to read the room and make sure they're feeling the same way as well, because they could also be actively, because they probably have a broader audience than you may have, right? So they may have a lot more options and a lot more, it may come a little easier.
So, full disclosure, the last time I dated, I was that player girl.
That's what I'm saying. So, you just.
So here we are in 2025.
But you know why you were? Is because you just didn't have someone. You didn't have the spark where you didn't. If you just thought about that person, you would not have the need to go out and see other people. They just didn't really get you right where you needed it.
I don't know that that's true. Because when I was younger, I remember feeling that.
It is.
But I am not going to chase anybody. I just have never been that way. I will not chase anybody. I didn't in my 20s. I won't do it now.
Interesting, because, I've had this conversation before, and I guess for me, I've always, like, I'm not too over. Like growing up, I had a couple friends that we'd go out with, the three of us, right, when I was younger, in my 20s. And these were high school friends, like, really good looking guys, really good shape, good physiques. One was super funny. Maybe not the best looking, but super funny. And but he was so over the top, overbearing, and like almost too much. So where the other guy, who was better looking than all of us, he was really shy, right? And I was the guy right in the middle, right? So I wasn't shy, but I wasn't like over the top, like just too much, like trying to get down your pants, and all that stuff. I was right in the middle, and I did okay, right? So just right in the middle. And I've never, in my mind, that's why the whole bumping of the carts in the grocery store, I've never really been the one to pursue.
Watch Jason find the love of his life bumping into someone in the store.
I'm going to try it.
Yeah, I got to know.
Yeah, I'm going to try it. I'll just keep bumping randomly in Publix. So, no, I just never really like pursued. I've just, it's organically kind of happened, or I've actually been pursued a little bit, right? So
does that feel weird to you as a guy?
It really doesn't, because it's, I'll tell you why. I mean, at least for me anyway, and maybe because I was in a few longer relationships and I've had 17 years of being single, a guy like me, it's hard, because I almost feel like I have a target on my back, meaning you don't know. I mean, it could be difficult for a guy, because we really can be susceptible to be taken advantage of, right? Financially, or you just don't know what's real, not real, right? I mean, do they like me for me, or do they like me for my status symbol, or for your income, or you know what I mean? I mean, it's just different in this day and age. What are your true intentions? Do you see what I mean?
I'll never forget what my friend told me. We're the same age, went to school together, known her since we were 12. We're both widows. Her husband died a couple years before mine, same thing. And we started talking, right? Because she has her own money, I have my own money. And she made a comment, because we were talking about, like, I said, I'm not going to be anyone's sugar mama, right? I literally made that comment. And she said, I was talking to other people and I did the grief share. And she said, I talked to an older lady that said, I can't tell you the trips I didn't go on because, someone couldn't pay their fair share. And I'm like, no, I don't think that's it. But then she made a comment to me. She said, here's the thing, Katrina, guys our age, they are dating 25-year-olds. That's what she said. And I said, you know what? You might be right.
Yeah.
Because we were the 25-year-old dating the old guy with the money.
I think it's I don't know. It may be a little bit of a, oh boy, I don't get myself on hot water here.
Just saying, like
it's probably kind of like a maturity thing. I think that, if you think back to your 20s and 30s, I mean, men in their 20s and 30s were more like boys, and you were on a different maturity level, so you're naturally drawn and attracted to older men.
Yeah.
Right? So now I guess I can say I'm an older man because I'm at 51 years old. So that is definitely happening, where younger women are more noticing you, and you can definitely when you know, and you're feeling those vibes. So it's opening up a whole new door that you wouldn't necessarily walk through yourself, because I think that's the thing. I don't want to be like a creeper. Dirty old man or a creeper, right? So that's probably, now that we're talking about this out loud, maybe why I say that I almost feel like I tend to be pursued, because you just don't know. Like,
you're like, if you're 25 and you're pursuing me, I'm down, but I'm not going to do it.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just, I think when you know, and listen, alcohol does a lot of amazing things. You get uninhibited, but I don't know. I mean, again, where do you go, right? So that's something, man, we went on this whole different tangent, but I think that's a big thing for once you decide to get your, here's what I will tell you. For going on my fair share of bad first dates, and just even going through like my own experiences, there is what's called TMI, right? And there is what's called, like, you may not be ready to date just yet, because there could be what's called like word vomit, right? Because you know how it is if you've got this man and he's not quite over his ex, and that could probably be a deal killer, and he's, oh, I miss her so much, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, if you're going to put yourself out there, you got to be ready to date. So, and there are relationship coaches out there. There are resources out there. Believe it or not, I actually was very passionate about being single in this day and age. So we didn't bring this up yet, but right here in the show, I'm going to talk about something. And I actually went on a mission to help other people just like myself, and the frustration of dating, because there are millions of single people in the country, and 50% of relationships do not work out. 50% of first marriages don't work out. And I think second, third marriage is 60 to 70%. So usually it goes back to, what do you think is the biggest reason why relationships do not work out?
I think it's a lack of connection. It's a lack of commitment. It's money. That has a lot to do with it.
We're going down the right
companionship.
Path. We're going all down the right path.
Compatibility, core values. All of those things.
You just said the two C words: core value and compatibility, right? You have to have the foundation. So there are people in relationships that have no business being relationships, and it's doomed from the start because they don't have, their core values do not align. The compatibility on certain things, whether it's religion, whether it's family, whether it's politics, whatever it is, interest, if someone is introverted and someone's extroverted, not to say that opposites can't attract, and maybe they can stay together as long as you are looking for that in your partner, but you can't change your partner. If they're that extrovert, you can't force them to be an introvert. You can be open-minded enough to go out and try new things and experiences, but we're all wired that way from birth. We can try new things, but we're still generally that person at the core of things, right? So
my husband and I were opposite.
And that worked?
It does, but like in my chapter 2, it's probably going to look a little different.
Yeah, that's okay. So let's talk about that. So I really believe that we didn't talk about this, and actually I'm going to put this nice little business card up here.
Oh, we're going here.
Right, I'm going to do it, right? So one of the things that I haven't really kicked off, because real estate took a different turn for us, and this is something that I'm very passionate about, and I'm going to do this. This is a business card here where it is called matchmaking, right? This real love matchmaking. So this is something that I really believe in. So I actually went out and became a certified relationship coach and a matchmaker to start a business to help people just like myself with the frustration of dating, because matchmaking is different. It is biblical. It goes back to the Bible times. It goes back to cultures out there, countries, where basically what they do, not kind of almost like an arranged marriage, but for different reasons. I mean, what you do is, in this day and age, we outsource a lot of things, right? So wouldn't it be safe to say that your significant other, just like a home or car, is one of the biggest, I don't want to say purchases, but one of the biggest things that will happen to you in your life?
Investment
Yes.
of time,
investment
energy?
of time, energy, finances, life, etc. So what's wrong with actually wanting to, if you are busy and you do not know where to meet people and you're experiencing difficulty on these apps, why not invest in yourself and go see a matchmaker, figure out what exactly you're looking for in a person. What they will do is what's called an intake. They'll sit you down, they'll ask you questions. What's important to you? What makes you tick? What do you like? And based upon your wants and needs in yourself, but also within your partner, what you're looking for in your partner, what are your deal breakers? What are your must-haves? What will you not compromise on, right? And that's important. That's okay, because there is someone out there for you, right? And I think do not settle. Do not compromise. You can be flexible, right? But there's core values you should absolutely not compromise, because that is doomed to fail inevitably at some point in time.
What's an example of that? Like where the core values are truly misaligned?
I mean, religion's a big one, right? So, I mean, if you are looking for someone who is God-fearing, believes in the same belief system that you do, if they don't, your core values aren't necessarily aligned. And it's almost like, what are you saying to your partner? Like, you want to go to heaven and you don't care if they go to hell, right? So you really got to stop and think about it. Like, they're home on a Sunday doing nothing while you're at church. You know, I mean, you have at some point in time, that's just not going to align, you know, just if family is like.
So let me ask you a question around that before you move on.
Okay.
So you're talking about religion. I think about my background and my husband's background. So he grew up, his mom was French Orthodox Catholic, right?
Yeah.
So, and mind you, he had an 8-month-old when we met. So that's like already taboo, right?
Yeah.
Out of the gate. And then you have somebody like me. I grew up in like the wild, wild west in terms of religion. So, you know, Christian based, but like Southern Baptist. My great grandmother was Hebrew, so there was like a Jewish element to it. And somebody like us, like you would say, okay, your core values and your belief system in terms of faith, right, or belief might be a little off. And so for my husband and I, we wanted to get married in a church, and we picked a Methodist church because we felt like it was a pretty good like middle ground. But somebody might look at that and say, oh, here's this little half Jewish girl that also has like Baptist, which is weird, like Southern Baptist, and the French old school strict Orthodox Catholic, that's never going to work.
But what I'm saying is, in that intake, you're actually having that conversation. Let's talk. What would you rate the importance of your partner having the exact same belief and faith that you have? Or are you open to maybe exploring other religions? Are you dead set on being a Christian? Are you dead set on being a Catholic? I mean, listen, my parents have been married for, I'm 51 and they're still married for 5 decades. My mother grew up Catholic. My father was a Christian. They go to church every Sunday in a non-denominational Christian
Bible-based church. Yeah.
And so, I mean, obviously that worked out. But so what I'm saying is, there might be someone that they're not going to marry outside of the culture or outside of the religion. I mean, so that's some of the things that you talk about in that intake.
In advance, yeah.
In your situation, you guys are flexible.
Later.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you may be open-minded to that, or may not even be up for debate, or because you care so much about what the family thinks. If you don't care about what your family thinks, you're going to be a little more open-minded. That's the whole point. Is you're actually. How about this? If you were to use a matchmaking service, what will happen is it probably will take a good 2 to 3 hours to really get to know what you're looking for in a partner, down to physicality, down to everything. So then what happens is you're only paired with people who match up as close as possible to those things that you're actually looking for. So you have much greater odds of success because you're aligned from the start. Now, there still has to be an attraction. There still has to be a spark. So it's not like you're going to hit the nail on the head the first time, but at least your odds of success are greater. And, to me, if you're using a matchmaker, you are paying and guaranteed to have at least some shots at it, a crack at it, right? So, when you sign up for the Bumbles and the Tenders and the Bees and the Birds and all of this kind of stuff, you spend the money not knowing if you're going to go out on a date or not. And I've done it and never went on a date. So where if I were to employ the services of Matchmaker, I am guaranteed, depending on the package that you pick, maybe 3 dates, and plus they've really gotten to know what makes me tick, and they're supposed to be as close to what I'm looking for in a partner as possible. Right. So I'm just throwing it out there. This is something I'm going to do. It's a business that I've already kind of looked into and started and taken some measures. And, when real estate gets its legs back, and I mean, it's a passion project for me that I want to do it for different reasons, because I think for me, it would be very rewarding to help others in that journey and listen, I haven't found my match yet. I mean,
but sometimes you get what you sow, right? Like if you're helping doing that for others, you may find that.
Agreed. You don't get what you want until you can help someone else get what they want, I believe. So for me, it's a pain point for me. It could be very, very triggering. And we're 45 minutes into this first show. There's going to be a part 2 to the show.
There has to be.
We have just opened up Pandora's box. Yeah. This is fun. It definitely is fun. We're not even going to get to the horror stories, I don't think, but
not this show.
No, but we'll continue this topic, and it is interesting. It is fascinating.
I think you're onto something though, because I think the traditional models, right, like with the apps, that's what's out there right now.
It's the definition of insanity.
I think it's just broken. It's a broken system. It just doesn't work.
No,
not well.
Listen, it's a cash grab for these app companies.
Right.
The biggest thing that I hate is that, first off, these auto renewals are the biggest scam on the planet, right?
But that's how they make their money.
Yeah, and you forget about it, and 24 hours goes by. You're supposed to let them know within 24 hours. Anyway, it's just that if you're doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, it's just not going to happen. We know that's the definition of insanity. So
let's talk a little bit about the third little thing we had, and it's probably a good segue to kind of pick up the next time. But the first dates, right? Those awkward conversations, especially if you are a widow, if you are a widower. Yeah. Talk about your first date. I told you mine. What was your first date after you were a widower? Do you remember it?
No, 17 years.
You don't remember it? You totally forgot?
I totally forgot. Absolutely. I mean, 17. Do you remember? 17 years.
Well, yeah.
So.
I might remember that though.
My situation was a little different. I had a 9-month-old.
Yeah.
So, but by the time I put myself out there, again, I talked about this in a show before, and especially a lot of women have children. But then there's a lot of women that will not even consider dating a man with children. And I think men are way more open to that than women are.
Yes.
There are some women that are just hard, fast, deal breaker. And those tend to be ones that don't have children of their own, right?
My kids are grown. My youngest is 19.
I'm talking yours is for different.
Woman?
No. Yours is different because you are an empty nester. So you may not want to date someone who has dragging around a toddler, right? But consider maybe someone like myself who has a 17-year-old. Would you? Yeah. I'm an empty nester practically. So you're not going to date me because I have a 17-year-old?
Well, no, you're like me. I have 2 kids at home. They're both adults. So the dynamics are a little different. So I'm not quite an empty nester. But then again, I don't want to start with someone that has a toddler, right? Back to your point. That would be a deal breaker for me.
Yeah. Or on the flip side, I'm 51 years old and, if I'm dating women in their 30s and they may have a child, they may want another one. So it's the opposite for me. this sounds crazy because I'm a grandfather and I have a 5-year-old grandson, a 3-year-old grandson, and like a 5-month-old granddaughter. So it's weird for me even to think about that 30-something-year-old that may want one more child, and now all of a sudden, what does that even make to my granddaughter and grandson? What would that even be? Not like an uncle, like a cousin. I don't even know what that would be. But anyway, and for me, I've thought about this too. Obviously I lost my son, and I have daughters. So, I mean, for me, I do think about carrying on the family name and my namesake. So, McIntosh. So, I mean, it for me, it dies with me. Right. So, I mean, I think about that a lot too. So
when you said that, I thought about it and I was like, okay, taking myself out of the female perspective, right? Yeah. Like if I was a guy and I was, we're the same age, but if I'm a guy and that was me and I lost my only son and I only had daughters that obviously are not going to likely carry on your namesake, would I reconsider that? And the truth is, I probably would if that was important to me.
I'm going to put it out there right here in this show right now. I'm taking applications, and I will definitely consider that. So, what I mean by that, in all seriousness, I have absolutely thought about it, and if I'm absolutely, I don't want that to be. I don't want to put it out there as a hard, fast rule, where potentially it could be someone very great and they truly want to have another child and they truly want to have it with me. I have to be open-minded enough. You don't know until you're in that situation. And I guess I have to be open-minded enough for this reason, because I certainly wouldn't want that. If everything else is perfect, I wouldn't want that to be the one reason why it doesn't work out. And I will also tell you this. It was very, very difficult for me raising a child, an infant, on up, and children without a partner, because there were so many things that I didn't get to experience with my partner, right? Even if you are separated, I mean, you still, and if you're on good terms, I mean, you'll never believe what she did today or he did today. Right. I mean, it was just so cute. Or you send a little video.
You could not like each other and you would share that.
Yeah, I'm saying. So I didn't really get a chance to, there was these moments that, I mean, they're special. I had them myself, but I mean, there was a part of me that, because when my wife was alive, and we had those moments, right? We had those moments. I mean, my oldest daughter was 8 years old. We had plenty of those moments, and then even with Dennis, I mean, he was 13, and when I started dating my wife, he was 1. So we had plenty of those moments, and we had a few of those moments with my, she was 9 months old. So, I mean, I guess for me, having a partner, being able to start fresh and just
get to finish that chapter.
I think so, because maybe a part of me is like, I wish that she could have been there for those moments and times, and maybe I have a little, I don't know, there's a little something missing there. So anyway,
perspective is interesting, right?
It is. You have to be open-minded.
I'm listening to your perspective, and I can completely relate to it, understand it. It makes sense, right? And then I look at mine, where I had my husband. All of our kids were grown. My youngest was 19 when he passed away, or almost 19. She was 18, almost 19. And I think about, I physically can't have kids anymore. And even if I could, I wouldn't want to. Like for me, I'd be like, no way am I starting over.
And listen, don't get it wrong. I mean, I'm practically an empty nester. So, I mean, there's an appeal of, like, for example, my grandchildren.
Total freedom.
Love my grandchildren. But I also love that if it gets a little too much to handle, like, here you go. I'm done with them for the day. 8 hours later. You don't get to do that. You don't get to give them back when you have children of your own. You got to, you've got them. So through the good and bad. So there's a part of it that's like, okay, you are starting all over again from scratch, to where on the flip side of it, I mean, if I were to meet someone that either doesn't want children, or their children is older like mine, and the excitement of maybe starting that, you're traveling, doing things, so I just think you have to decide what your flexibilities are as a person, and then date. That's why I think the matchmaking's good, right? Because I'm either going to say absolutely not, or would you consider?
So I joke around this in a loose kind of manner, and I mean no disrespect when I say it.
Here we go.
But I'm thinking about, like Dennis was 13, right, when Helena passed away.
Yep.
If you had lived through those teenage years, like with your hell child, the one that gives you all the BS, you probably be like, oh no, I'm free. I'm not doing that again. But I experienced that with my husband, right? Which is what you said was missing. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly.
I remember looking at a countdown. I would text my son how many days, hours, minutes until he was 18, because he gave my husband and I such grief. Like I could not even tell you. Like my poor husband that already didn't even sleep was trying to sleep, and this little wild freaking child that I got the mother's curse from, totally my fault, take full responsibility for, was like giving us havoc.
The bottom line is you just really have to self-explore and determine what's important to you and date appropriately to those standards. And I think that, I don't know. I mean, there's no rules on. I don't necessarily think that the full disclosure up front, like an interview at the date. I mean, that's also. I've been cross-examined and interviewed, and I didn't like it. Right? I'm like, can I finish my drink? Can I finish my meal? Can I? I mean, this is like an inquisition. Like I don't know, because I just want it. Because here, maybe I'm thinking it's a hard, fast rule, and then there's a spark in chemistry, and you just can't stop thinking about this person, and they could be the love of your life, for this part of your life, for the rest of your life. So you'll know when you know, right? So I just don't know, right? But flipping back to, if you feel at that moment like, I do not want to date someone with children, or I absolutely do not want to, or physically I can't have more children.
Right.
You have to be honest with yourself and honest with that other, or you just date people who are like-minded.
Mm-hmm. Well, other than feeling like a pedophile, that's my challenge with dating a 35-year-old, right? Yeah. They might say, oh, I don't want kids. Well, what happens if they change their mind in 5 or 10 years into it, and then they do, right? Like that, for me, I don't think it's just not a good position.
Yeah, I mean, they could be, you're right. I mean,
because they might not think they want kids at 35, but a lot can change.
This is true.
As you roll into your 40s, your life perspective changes a bit.
It does. It's interesting.
Or they could have a thought like you. Hey, if I don't have a kid, I can't carry on my namesake. I never thought about it before.
When you put it that way, I mean, do you only date people within your similar age span? Because at some point in time, male or female, I mean, let's face it, shelf life, so, I mean, it's something to consider and think about. I don't know.
Dude,
right?
I look at guys on the apps in their 60s, and I'm like, oh my God, they look so old.
But you know what we're doing right now? We are freaking overthinking it too.
Yeah, we are.
I'm definitely not an overthinker, and some people are.
I'll overthink stuff sometimes.
I am a go with the flow. I am a spontaneous person. If you're willing to put yourself out there, I'm willing to give you a chance. I'm putting myself out there too. We're both putting ourselves out there. Let's just make a deal. I mean, let's call it a truce. You don't worry about my feelings, right? If you're truly if you are feeling it enough. On a scale of 1 to 10, how did this date go? Anything over 5.
Do you ask that?
No.
Okay.
But maybe I should. I mean, if someone asked me that,
I'm going to give you this feedback card after the date. Can you fill it out?
I mean, think about it. That's not a bad idea. Why? It's 1 hour in. That feels like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Why? Listen, who knows? I mean, there are no rules. No does mean no. That's a rule, right? But I mean, going back to that, I mean, I don't know. I just think in the moment you are gonna know within 5 minutes. I know within 3 minutes. I know sometimes just that hello.
I'm at the flip side of that. I am.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's what's cool.
Yeah.
We're all different. There's 64 crayons in a box, and these days there's hundreds.
I mean, yes, there has to have some physical attraction. They can't be like dog. That's not going to work. If I think their dog ugly or I'm not attracted, but it's not the number one. Like I think and that happened with my husband. But it gets you in the door.
It gets you in the seat because you just said it. So now you're You're a flip flopper.
No, I'm not.
You're flip flopping right now.
I'll give you an example.
No, you can't. Katrina, listen to me.
Okay.
It's one or the other.
No, it's not.
Yes. Wait, you just contradicted yourself.
Okay.
I'm calling you out.
Tell
right
me how.
here.
I want to hear it.
Okay, well, but if I'm not attracted to him, then it's just a deal breaker. But it's not my number one. You have to be attracted enough to actually go on the date.
Okay, attracted enough. That's fair.
Okay. So
that's fair.
Okay. Looks mean nothing. Okay, then that means there's nobody on that app that you will not go on a date with.
I didn't say nothing.
Which is it?
You said good looking enough. You just said that.
Okay.
Or something like that.
There has to be some sort of attraction.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Fair enough. We can agree
You're
on
not
that.
going to date someone that you're not attracted to. And so we're talking about a date where you're choosing to go with this person via pictures or a profile. In person, though, you might randomly, like, friends get to know friends. They're super not attracted to that person at first. And friends, I was just friends with my wife, and we had children and married. So,
But were you attracted to her from go?
She's super attractive. She's beautiful. She's hot. But I'm partial to brunettes. She was a blonde, right? So with friendship became the attraction, right? If she was on an app, would I have necessarily swiped, which I always forget, left or right? Left is yes, left is no.
I don't know. Right. I get it all wrong.
So, possibly, potentially, maybe not. And sometimes, we could all be superficial in our mind. We have what we think is a type. We all have types,
Yeah.
Or maybe we're gravitate towards one type, but, we're open enough to maybe be attracted to others, but there's that type that just gets your motor running.
Yeah,
right?
We talked about that earlier. It could be the highest guy on the planet. I could be thinking about.
They open their mouth and wah wah wah.
And I'm like, oh gosh.
But that's what I'm getting at. When you have this platform, it's like, okay, it's like a buffet. Like, you're not going to go for that because you don't like that, right? But if it was the last thing left to eat, you'd have no choice, right? But so the point is, that's a whole different animal versus getting to know someone outside of an app and getting to know someone in person that you just may have a casual conversation with, or an acquaintance, or you bump into them, and in time their personality, maybe their energy, maybe they're funny, and maybe they have this charisma, maybe they have this confidence. And you would maybe not necessarily be attracted to him on this app platform. You might even not even give him the time of day, but it's completely different in person. That's where I'm getting at, right?
We're going to have to make this a part 2. And I think
there's going to be part 2, 3, and 4 on this one.
Maybe, for sure. So when we come back, I'd love to talk about like the first date, the awkward conversations.
We didn't get
I know, but that's a big one. With first date, the awkward conversations, the red flags, what's attractive, what isn't. And I think it's super important to get that opinion, right? That male female opinion. Like, my opinion may be different than yours.
Yeah, because obviously, where we are very similar in some regards, I think you and I are polar opposite in other regards. Like,
1,000%.
you know why? Because you're like one of the guys, right? Yeah. And that's cool, right? But it has to almost be a really manly man to be able to deal with that as well.
My friend made a comment to me, and I forget what she said, but I was aware of that.
Chris was a big, strong, silent type, right?
Yeah.
And that's why it worked for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Because he was strong enough to be able to probably let you take the lead in most every social situation, but he's a likable guy.
He didn't want to do it.
Right. So you were more of the alpha, more assertive one in that capacity. Right. And
which he loved because he didn't want to do it.
Yeah, that worked for you guys, right? So,
but I can see where a lot of guys would be either turned off or like, this is not good energy.
Listen, I'm an Aries, and I've tried to date Aries, and it just did not work. I would think, power couple, that's perfect, right? But it's just, and not that
like this head buddy.
I don't know. It's not. Not that I can't handle it. I just think, I don't know. I just that's why I think right up front you get a good sense of how the rest of the act and the rest of the movie goes and the rest of the show goes. If you're having these, and too many people trust your gut, trust your judgment, it is right. Your first instincts are right. If, man, this guy's crazy, and man, that was weird. Man, that's a weird personality thing. I wouldn't necessarily say that or do that. Or how they treat someone else, or just on a date, like how they treat the service staff. Are they friendly? Are they rude? That's not going to change, people.
Yeah.
You're not going to fix them. You're not going to change them. If you're seeing these little weird things and these tics and these mannerisms, run fast.
Or someone that shows up and they're braggadocious, right? About
that like too.
They're bragging about money or clout.
There's confidence and cockiness, right? Kid Rock says you're not bragging if you back it up, right? But if you have a confidence, you don't need to brag, right? And it's usually the people that are very braggadocious are lacking confidence.
Yeah.
Generally, they're overcompensating for something.
Reminds you of the Shrek movie where he walks in and he says, he walks in Lord Farquaad, right? Really short, super tall, big doors. And he's like compensating for something. You remember that little part in Shrek?
Yeah.
Anyway. All right.
Yeah.
We should wrap this up, but I'm excited about part 2. This will be fun.
Yeah. It's been producer Rob's been over an hour. Good Lord. All right. Well, if you were excited and enthralled and you're very into this conversation, hanging on every word, or maybe we got to work on getting that lifeline, because I feel like this is a never-ending topic that can keep going, and there's people I would love to have. I could
just text one now and bring it back to the show. Should we do that? We'll do that. All right, 813-377-2775.
There you go.
You might have that flip side, that super female personality, and like mine, give us your perspective. So 813-377-2775.
If you're out there in the video land or radio wave land, or however you're tuning in, and something either myself said or Katrina said, if maybe you want to be a potential suitor for Katrina, or maybe for myself, I mean, feel free to reach out to that number or come right into the studio and
or give a different perspective that might be different than our own, right?
No, we like to hear what you're thinking, what your take on it is, right? Because I think this is a topic that everybody can relate to, and I think everybody has experienced these frustrations at least once in their life, maybe before they met their partner, unless they just married their high school sweetheart, but sometimes in even those situations your mind wanders and drifts. So I mean, this is something I think everybody thinks about. Or you're always trying to set your friends up. If you're having a relationship and you could not possibly think about anyone else, you want the same for any of your friends or family members or everything else. So I don't think there's anybody that doesn't have anything to add to this topic of conversation.
So, and you can leave a message too on that number. So the 813-377-2775, you can leave a message. We can actually bring it into the show. So if you have a question, comment, story, you want to share a first date, some of those super awkward conversations, crazy red flag stalkers, like bring it.
It's brilliant. It's been fun. So,
it has been fun.
Until next week, I am Jason McIntosh.
I'm Katrina Madewell.
And this is Live, Love, Loss. Until we meet again.